Hello there. I've been quite busy recently, and when I mean recently, I mean the entire duration of this year. I began this year, and that probably around January, thinking I'd be playing a lot more on my Forever Survival world, but life tends to change things. And I've been playing and spending a lot of time here on this wonderful place called TerraTrove. And I'd like to show you what I've done. Just like my survival world tour, I'd like to take you on a chronological journey from where I started and where I ended up. Just like that, I also have a lot of screenshots I could share. I don't remember if I even shared any of them in that case, but that doesn't really matter. So I'd like to take you along for a little journey, just so I can show off the many, many, many things that I have done on this wonderful server in this past year. And where we start now is right here in the spawn region. It took a little while, but man, it does look quite fantastic. You wouldn't have known day one that it would look this good, but look at it now. Back then, it was just a flat, empty field. I think I remember the first build here being a giant eggplant within the first week. That got taken down or moved at some point. But when I first logged in for the very first time, at least for this season, I started right here. And I would have traveled off in this direction. This very obviously wasn't here at the beginning of the season, but here is our wonderful post office where we can send each other mail and bombs and spam and advertising. I think I've gotten very few useful things in the mail, but I've gotten quite a few amusing things. It is quite a wonderful resource and really is a great community meeting space. I think to send home the point, let's go and have a look at my box now. Like, I don't even know why I receive half the things I do. Why someone had the genius idea to give me 64 stone and 4 random axolotls. But I've got them now. And when we get to my base, I can show you the collection of all the random garbage that I've picked up. But hey, it's fun. It's fun. And really, sometimes that's all that matters. Back in those early days, all of this was just plains with a river going through it. And we'll make our way back here. What we're currently traversing through is the sort of medieval spawn town, and tracing my route that I would have taken to escape and, well, not really escape, but to try and find my place in this world and in this community. Probably worth putting on armor at this point. It's a bit hard to see the path when I'm in third person, so why don't you come and join my head? Much easier. And there's where the path goes. If I'm remembering correctly, around this sort of an area, there was a decently large forest where I cut down a tree, made my first boat, and went across the sea. I don't know why. I'm always attracted to the sea when I start a new Minecraft world or a new survival experience because it's so easy to get around. It's so easy just to pick a point and go where you want to go. It is also on these beaches that I did meet another player, but and founded a base together. But like most things, it was fleeting, and I ended up mostly by myself, at least for a while, but not forever, thankfully. Do I have a boat? This is technically griefing, so don't tell anyone. I know you won't. Well, let's take sail. What you can see over there, just out of render distance, is our villager trading hall. In the early days, we got, let's say, 100 players in week 1, and every single one of them wants to get villagers because every single one of them wants to have max gear within 30 minutes. So this was the solution to not crash the server with a number of villagers everywhere. And now it's just a wonderful resource to get whatever you need, and also the bane and contempt of my existence, as it was the foundation of my future business ventures. One thing you really start feeling after being on a Minecraft server for about a year, which I have now nearly have, is you really see how people come and go. The 2 week Minecraft phase really is poignant, and you'll often see people with big plans, big ideas, play for a bit, and then never be seen again. This here is just north of spawn and is the first island I stopped off at. I don't remember if it looked like this. I don't believe it would have, but we came by, said hi, and left. No. I have completely forgotten about this thing. Well, what you see here is my first experiment using the Axiom mod, which is one of the more recent things I've ever done. I was just amused by the idea of building a giant monolith and then having people find it. But I don't know if anyone found it. No one's commented on it. No one sent screenshots of it. Well, so I built it just to amuse myself, really, more than anything. More than anything in the world, really. What I really liked about the Axiom mod is it lets you make these weird organic shapes very easily, because otherwise this would have been a real pain in the neck to build. And Lightmatica makes easy work of copying things over without having to refer to 100 million screenshots. What we're coming up on now is some land nearly directly north of spawn. And another reminder of the fleeting nature of online friendship. This area I intended to be a fun gaming area, sort of a bunch of little mini games, a bunch of little silly machines you could play around with. And of course, you talk about the idea in text chat, people get interested, and then they never join the server ever again. So I ended up being the only person who built here. And I built 2 primary things. The first I built was the chicken or egg machine, which, due to the influx of gambling machines at the time, I thought it would be amusing to bet on which chicken lays an egg first. The concept is really simple. You just sit here, place your bets into your designated barrel, and you see which chicken lays an egg first. If this guy lays an egg first, the prize is funneled through here. If this guy lays an egg first, the prize is funneled through here. I initially had only 1 chicken in here, and the average wait time was between 5 and 10 minutes, which is a little bit long for most people's patience. This game wasn't really played by very many people because I didn't advertise it to very many people, and I built it so far out of the way that, well, no one really comes through this way. But it's a real fun little thing that I've shown off here and there. It's really quite simple. This used to be a diamond filter, and I turned it off just so... There you go. The wood or whatever should come flying out this way. There it is. It's really simple. All it does is feed the items into these 2 droppers here. There's a little line here that enables the dispensing mechanism only if a prize is won, which is all done right here. All this line here does is trigger one of these droppers, which stores whether this one has won first or this one has won first. And, well, a couple of note blocks and a little bit of redstone and some thinking, and you get a nice, simple family-friendly gambling machine. I built it so long ago, I cannot remember the exact details of how it works, but, well, it does. And what you see here is another one of my attempts to try and, connect with the community and try and host things that are fun. And this here is Deal or No Deal. I don't recall when I built it. Let me check. I might have a screenshot, an early one. Could have easily have been April or July, I'm not sure. But I built this place, and it sat completely unused for ages. Because, well, I struggle a lot with socialization and trying to push things a little bit. At least early on I was. So this place stayed very underutilized for months. But I'll bring it up again later in the story when it becomes a little more relevant, because it did, as you can see, eventually get used and eventually become an extremely fun event. So in those early days, I continued sailing west along the coast, finding places. I think, if I recall correctly, there's like a ruined portal near here that I looted a few things from. But I kept sailing, kept going. Here it is. Oceanside. This is not my base, and I cannot remember if this was settled while I was looking for my own spot, but it definitely is quite a pretty looking place. Very, very spruce, but quite nice. Another early base. This one got abandoned around the time the villagers got limited to 6 per player, because I think they were planning on having quite a large one, and they didn't stick around long after that. So we are coming up on the beautiful shores of what I ended up naming Name Pending, because I think I'm an incredibly funny person. But I don't know. I enjoy a little bit of ironic humor sometimes, so, Name Pending stuck. This build here was the very first one done on the site of Name Pending, and it is not my own. It is actually the house of the other founding member of this place, Fox Goes Burr, but they haven't been seen in 8 or 9 months. Basically since the first few weeks. This build went up very quickly before basically anything else, but not much came from them afterwards. Pretty much everything other than maybe this path beyond this point is my own. So let's keep walking up and have a nice look. Into the secluded forest. What you see here is a rail line that I built in around June. I think it's one of the last things that I actually built in this place before I got a little bored and decided to do other things. We'll be taking a ride on that later as it goes to the other area of Name Pending. Technically a neighbor, but much more than that. And what you're about to see is a view that I worked very hard on making as nice as possible, so, or at least carefully considered. So let's go over this hill and see what it looks like. Yeah. So this here is what I've been working on for the better part of a year. And it doesn't look like much because, working full-time is working full-time and everything, but I've put a lot of time just hanging around here because I find it so pleasant. It's so nice. And I'd love to show you around and show you exactly what I've done around here in a semi-chronological fashion. So I did not bother lighting anything up around here because I think it looks a lot cooler, but that comes at the expense of zombies, skeletons, creepers, and, well, thank goodness someone has slept because I was just about to do that. So let's have a little look around, why don't we? So what we have here first is my smelter room, my super smelter. I wanted it to look sort of like a forge or sort of like something, that would deal with hot stuff. We have the armor poser, armor stand plugin on this server, so we can do cool little things like this. Cool little things. I think I probably haven't utilized it to its full potential, but in those little touches, I think it looks very nice. Now, I'm particularly proud of this little area because of a little trick it has now. And of course, I have absolutely nothing to smelt. Pause for a second. Yeah, you can smelt logs, that'll do. As you'll notice, coming in, it's extremely dark. There used to be no lights at the end either, but it needed to be somewhat usable. Isn't that just wonderful? Like, I put a lot of effort into just making the minecarts go at exactly the same time. You can see that the tracks are a little bit weird. That is just so that they are exactly the same length, so that when the one on the left and the one on the right hit this point, they do it at exactly the same time, so that we get that awesome looking effect. And I am just so chuffed whenever I see it. I love it. And there you go. It's also extremely fast, which is what you'd expect from a giant parallel system like this. And might as well feed that back in. Now, outside the castle, I have a series of fields and not many builds to speak of. There are some paths. There's a path going on in this direction, which was intended to link up to a neighbor's base, but, well, like many things that happen in life sometimes, they don't work out. So the path just ends right about here. It was intended to be a bridge and all that go over here, but, you know, that's okay. Sometimes things don't happen. But one thing I do feel extremely fortunate for is, well, the reason I built this little house. And that's how I came or into possession of the horse named Kopi. Well, I probably shouldn't have spoiled it, but whatever, I suppose, at this point. So there's Kopi. He spends most of his days in the window because he can't see the trapdoor, so he tries to leave, but he literally never can. And this here is the friend that I met the day that I also met Kopi. Her name is Prilly. Funny story. On the early days of the server, there was no elytra, no shulker boxes, no anything. Let's set up a nice camera, why don't we? There we go. No shulker boxes, no elytra, no anything. So, well, we got around using horses. And I got into the habit of going to people's bases and just seeing what they're all about. Because, you know, I want to meet people. I want to see if I can make some friends. And that is sometimes difficult when you're in the time zone I'm in. Because this server is based in the US. I am not based in the US. I am based on the other side of the planet. So it makes things difficult sometimes. And when I rocked up at Prilly's base, we had a good chat, had a bit of a laugh, and I ended up in a custody agreement for this silly horse. But that was the beginning of a nice, wonderful friendship that still continues to this day. And, well, you can see the effects of it sort of throughout, and I'm not sure how much I'll speak on it, but you'll see as we move on. The biggest thing here is this big old castle. And this is what I came into the server day one wanting to build, because as I spoke about in that last world tour, I have always wanted to build a castle in Minecraft, but I just never followed through. Here's where I've actually followed through. So there's I found this wonderful bit of terrain, completely naturally generated. It makes this giant chasm, and I immediately thought that would look so cool for a castle, and, well, it does. So let's come inside. You may call me ego-driven. I call myself dear leader, I suppose. No, but this is Comedy Castle, so it's my castle. I gotta be represented in it everywhere, even in the throne room. Funny story, this whole room took months to build after building the actual walls, because it's super easy to get sidetracked when you're playing mod multiplayer servers. And if you come through here, you've got a wonderful bedroom, both for me and for friends to stay over. Nice couch, carpet, books to read, all the good stuff. Lovely bathroom. Pristine mirror for vampires only, so you can't see yourself. The world's squarest toilet paper. And be careful, because the poo stains don't come out the floor, as I've experienced. Going down those stairs, there's an exactly this goes to exactly the same spot as going down these, so we'll go this way first. Here's a nice, lovely chandelier, lovely dining room, and of course a kitchen to prepare all the food in, storage closets, quite beautiful. One of the funny memories I have associated with this place is that I built all of this while the Australian federal election was happening. I had it on the side. I distinctly remember placing this chandelier down while the freaking winners were being announced, so that's quite amusing to me. Down here is my storage room. Looks quite nice. All the things you could need. It took a embarrassing amount of time to build that. I spent a significant amount of time with a bunch of chests here, a bed right there, and I slept underneath my castle walls instead of within them. Right here is where I filmed the majority of the commercial Better Call comedy, which was my Better Call Saul parody. And I did it all on green screen because that's how the original was done. And it intentionally looks like crap. I made mine looks like crap because I don't know how to do a green screen properly, but we'll just say it's intentional. Fun part about this. A couple months in, there was a fella named Murdoch who used to play. And one day, I don't know, I think I was building this. I don't know what I was building. I was building something around here. And he kept coming up to me. It's like, hey, can I have this thing? Hey, can I get an iron bar? I was like, okay, here you go. Okay, here you go. And eventually, I see a name tag right here. And he built a house in my walls, which is quite amusing. There's the iron bar, quote unquote, that I gave him. Yeah. Unfortunately, he didn't stick around, but I think you can actually see. Yeah, there you go. This is not my build. This is not mine. It's a secret little house in my walls, and that secret will stay with us. But that's about it for the castle. It's not like the most impressive thing in the world, but it's my castle. I put a lot of love, put a lot of hours into it, a lot of even more hours procrastinating on it, and I'm quite proud of how it goes. How it's gone. Now, off in this direction is what is technically known as Name Pending 2. Now, this is not my base, but it's actually Prilly's base, because she built her original one too close to spawn and built a lighthouse in the spawn region, which is technically not allowed. So it had to come down and, slightly disillusioned, decided to move somewhere else. And, well, having a new friend, why not move in right next door? This really isn't my base to show off, so I don't want to speak about the details too much, but do spend a fair bit of time here. So, gloss over and invite you to come and join us, join the server. You can have a look for yourself. But in here is the heart of our business empire, Pan and Paw, which primarily sells food. Now, I've long since gotten tired of trading golden carrots with villagers, but back in the good old days, quote unquote, we spent a lot of time trading for emeralds, trading for golden carrots, trading for food. She's very highly competitive. I am less so, at least in this market. I can be in a lot of other areas, but it's a nice fun thing that we've set up. I did build a tree farm that we intended to cover up, but we never ever did. It's the most temperamental farm I've built in my entire life. It's not my own design, but everything in there is broken at one point. Oh, you can tell the storage room is my design, because it looks like garbage, and I never bothered fixing it. But hey, whatever. Not everything gets finished. Oh, I cannot believe what I've just done. I forgot to ride the rail. Okay, let's go and do that. Because the rail, as useless as it is, connects Brilly and my own base. That is definitely broken. I think that's supposed to be sitting up there. Oh well. So I built the little rail line here. She built the beautiful building because she's really good at building. But I built the little rail line. Up here is the house of another player who temporarily joined for a time. Circa Sophia, his name was, but Not for a long time, but the time was nice. I do have a memory. I think we were I think we went. I was with him. Yeah, we went for a mining trip. I tried to swim up through a giant underwater lake, forgetting he did not have depth strider, aqua affinity, respiration, anything. So he promptly drowned. One thing I want to point out about this, and I think I might need to write it one more time just to show it off, is that from my side, you ride the minecart on the left, because that is how proper countries drive and ride on rail lines and on the road. And being Australian, I'm on the left side, as you should. But some other places think, you know, wrong ideas, and that like you should drive on the right side of the road. So we have a little interchange to make both of us feel good. Now, I feel like I've done it in this real silly order. I've got a large yeah, I'm just going straight back to the Deal or No Deal. Now, after June, I pretty much stopped playing regularly. I got pretty tired of what I was doing normally. But that's when, well, applications for Event Manager opened, and, well, as you might notice, I have EM next to my name. So I actually succeeded. I succeeded in my application. And that's when this thing finally got used. This here is Deal or No Deal. It's literally the same as the show. Every single quote-unquote case or shulker box has a dollar amount in it, and it was a really wonderful time. I recorded the whole thing and intended to make it into a video, but the audio was not set to the right tracks, so Discord audio was significantly quieter than me. So make it a bit of a nightmare, and I got disinterested in continuing the video because it would have taken a lot of micro work that I wasn't really interested in. But hey, still got the footage. Maybe I'll do something with it at some point. But it was a really good time, and it was a really nice and successful first event that I designed and ran. I do have a few farms strewn about, but I'm not terribly interested in showing them off. I would, however, like to point out a few of the other things that I have done. I'm flying in the wrong direction. As an event manager and also ad spawn. This here is Pan and Pour, which is currently in holiday mode. It is called Pan and Pour because it sells food and legal advice. So Pan for food, Pour because, well, what's my name again? Comedy Canine, and I'm the lawyer. So Pour, like dog. Yes, very funny. Now, being a lawyer is what most people on the server know me for, despite the fact I have no legal qualifications in real life whatsoever, which some people thought I did, which I just think is quite amusing. But this here is not my own build. Prilly built most of it, but a lot of memories come to mind, and no, nothing specific comes to mind, but nice warm feelings of spending time with friends and just hanging out. The vibe comes to mind. One of my favorite features is the biggest thing that I built here. You can hear the music playing now, and the big rat, which is our landlord. At least that's the lore we decided to come up with building this place for whatever reason. I don't know what we were smoking, but we're having a good time at the very least. Here are the results of my prismarine farm because I really wanted to get my hands on dark prismarine. And you can tell how often I look and check this thing now. And what you'll see around the place, and I don't know if they're as present these days, but yeah. There was only one rat here, and it lives in the basement, not there. Okay, that's been changed since it was last year. But you can see we tried to get elements of a story and lore into this place, like the stairs being out of the order, used the fire escape for access. Oh, okay. With gold being sold, I don't think I've sold very much the whole season because I never advertise it, so I don't need to restock it. Uh-oh. And this is my office, the poor part of Pan and Pour. I've got a large number of cases, some more dubious than others, but I've defended the rights of armadillos. I have defended a child of God, apparently, and there will be a final trial coming up in maybe 2 or so weeks from when I'm recording this. That'll be a real good time. I might make an effort to record that. We'll see what happens. Because it should be the most interesting one out of them all. But this is Pan and Paw. Can't think about how many hours I've spent trading with goddamn villagers. I do not want to do that at all next season. Jesus Christ. Another event I hosted was the TED Talks. I have a full video recording of that. For the last one, which I have a recording of, but haven't. Oh, get rockets. So off in this direction is the games area, and you might be able to tell it's the games area because look at this, all the random crap everywhere. And the last event, the latest event I hosted, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, I cannot remember at this point. Carrot in a box. Inspired by the same game on 8 out of 10 Cats or whatever it's called. Two contestants go against each other and try to win a carrot. We turned it into a tournament. That was a good fun time. I have a full recording of it. Don't know if I'll edit it down. Maybe I should have published the whole unedited thing, but that was good fun. And I think that about brings an end to this tour. I don't think I said very much. I think it's very what's the word I'm looking for? Disjointed. I had a better plan in my head, but I just needed to get the thoughts out, to be honest, and I didn't feel like scripting anything. I just want to talk, really. What this community means quite a lot to me, quite significantly to me. At the beginning of this year, I was very, very alone, quite critically alone, and this community has given me a really nice, safe space to just be myself, or at least show a side of myself that I don't really always get to show, because I think we're made up of many selves, not just one. And it's nice to be a funny sort of, I don't know, make other people smile. I find that quite nice. So I want to thank absolutely everyone on the TerraTrove server for the absolute kindness that they've shown me this past year. I hope I've shown it back in some small amount, but yeah. It's to many more fun events in the future.